Hey, love. Okay, so first, the recording is already started. I'm gonna go ahead and okay, that should be good. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, this is not working. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let me unmute you just in case. I have no idea if, okay, you're unmuted.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you.
I can't hear anything. Can you guys let me know in the chat?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, why can I hear? Okay, cool. So go ahead and introduce yourself and then kind of give us your story, your backstory, how long you've been in the business, and then what rank you are as well.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. Excuse my voice. My allergies are like super, super bad. The weather over here in Fresno is like just bipolar and crazy. But my name is Meech Gonzalez. I am a double diamond. I've been in the business for 5 years now. I actually started as a loyal customer. When I started with It Works, I had no idea that this was even a business opportunity. When I started, I was a customer for the wraps, fell in love with it. And then I was like, once I fell in love with the wraps, I started stalking my friend's page and started like seeing what other products they had. I just had my third baby, C-section. All three of my kids were C-section. And so my stomach was a mess, to say the least. And I was at my biggest. I used to be a medical assistant, and so I lived in scrubs. So if any of you guys are in the medical field, you know, wearing scrubs is like wearing pajamas all day long. So I was in scrubs. I had got up to a size 16 and never was that size ever in my life. I've always been like a 9'11". And when I saw the wraps, like a before and after, for me, I was more skeptical, and I wanted to like try them to pretty much like say that they didn't work, because I was always thought like, oh, I'm gonna need surgery, like I'm gonna need a tummy tuck. But having 3 kids and working, it was really tough. And so that was never gonna be an option for me, financially. So I started stalking her page, started seeing like the other products she was offering, but then I came across a post where she was talking about being a stay-at-home mom, and she was making like way more money than I was making in my job. And I went to school, and you know, I had a great job. I was in the medical field, and you would think that they would pay us a lot more, but they and so I started with like questioning like what am I doing and what is she doing? Like, how is she a full-time stay-at-home mom and making all this money? And here I am working 50 to 60 hours a week and away from my kids all the time. I'm at my biggest. I'm wearing these pajamas all day long, and I'm struggling. Like, I'm on food stamps. Like, I'm struggling to make ends meet. Where did I miss something? And so I reached out to her. She started explaining how it is, like how to join, and kind of giving me all that rundown. And it was during tax season, and I went for it. I joined. I already knew the wraps worked. I got amazing results. I was like, I know I can wrap my mom. I can wrap my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law. I had some friends I knew I can wrap. And so I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. So I joined, and within my first 2 months, I went Ruby. And then within my first 11 months, I went Diamond. I earned the $20,000 bonus. And then the second year I was in the business, I ended up going to conference for my second time. I was like blown away with everything that was going on. And they announced the double good bonuses again. And so while I was at conference, all this was going on, and I started like to vision my life differently. I was always playing it safe. I was still working at my job, and I was doing this on the side, and I was making great money as a diamond, and with the bonus, and it was awesome. And I had all this extra cash, and I was able to get off food stamps and was able to do stuff for my kids. We went to Disneyland. Like, it was awesome. But when I went to conference the second time, it was just like a whole new vision for our life opened up. And I started to think, what if I could be a stay-at-home mom with my husband and the kids? Like, what if I made enough to do that? And my mom was with me, and she just grabbed my hand, and she's like, Mija, when you get back, like, you have to quit your job. Like, you have to do this, what you've been wanting to do. And it was so scary. I got home that Sunday. That Monday, I just, that Sunday night I prayed on it. And that Monday I went to work and I told my boss Friday was going to be my last day. And it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And she was upset, but, I had to follow what I wanted, like what I really wanted. And that following week, so I quit. That Friday was my last day. That following week, I promoted to Double Diamond, earned the $30,000 bonus. And then the next month, I got my husband to Diamond. And so we've been a full-time stay-at-home family for 3 years now. That was 3 years ago. It's so crazy how fast time has flown by. But we do this full-time. We don't miss anything anymore. Like, we're here with my little one, my 2 older ones. So my son's in college, and then my daughter, she's a sophomore in high school. And then I have my little one who's in 1st grade. And so everything that I missed with those 2 older ones, I get to do with the little one. Like, I get to be costume mom, field trips. We get to be like, take her to school every day, pick her up every day. And those little things, like, you always see like these success stories, and they're always talking about, buying the big house and buying the big car and being a millionaire. Those are amazing things. And I'm shooting for all of that too. But that freedom to be able to be there with her and then pick her up every single day. Like, we're the only 2 parents that get to go and do that stuff. We see other parents, like, we'll see a mom here and a dad there, but we never see like the couple, like the 2 parents go there. And so she thinks she's cool because she has 2 cool parents.
That is so awesome. Honestly, like, we never know like why we're joining the business. And it's crazy because I was just telling my team, earlier, I was like, you know what, we get started for, hey baby, we get started for $500, and then all of a sudden it's like your whole freaking life changes as long as you don't give up. So it's freaking insane. Okay, so that's awesome. So you said you're double diamond and then your husband is a diamond, so you're making that income where both of you guys can stay home. That's amazing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my used to work. So we both worked, and then he ended up getting hurt. He's always done like warehousing jobs. Like, he's always been like in lifting and just doing those manly type of jobs. Well, he ended up getting hurt at work. This was before I started the business. He got hurt at work, and he was he had to go to see a doctor and stuff. And that's when we found out he had scoliosis. So he got denied workers' comp. He got denied all of this stuff because it was a pre-existing condition. And then he was like going through therapy and stuff like that, but he had work restrictions. So every time he would go and try to apply for a job, they were like, no, he's a liability. He, no job was going to hire him with like weight lift restrictions. Like, he couldn't lift, push and pull like over 5 pounds. And most of these warehousing jobs, like, you have to be able to lift stuff, pick stuff up, put it over your head. Like, you have to do all this stuff. And so they had, so it was really hard at the time because, one, it brought us down to a 1-income home, and then getting denied the workers' comp, it was like, now he can't get like disability. He can't get, he couldn't get anything because it was a pre-existing condition. And so for that time when I started the business, in the beginning, like when I went from, because I promoted to Ruby in my first 2 months, and then from like 2 months to 11 months, like a lot of crap happened. My sponsor ended up leaving, and I was boxed in for Diamond. She left and took my entire team with her, and I was like, at that moment, I was like, what the hell do I do? Like, I hadn't met my like ambassadors yet. I kind of had met my triple diamond upline at a 1 team 1 mission, but it was still kind of like, all of my team was far away, like my uplines and stuff. They weren't in the same city I was in. I didn't have no local team. It was really, really hard and scary. And I was like, I really don't know what to do. So I YouTubed everything, you guys. Like, I went on YouTube. And it's so much more now than it was 5 years ago. YouTube, like, I just like searched like how do I do this? How do I do that? And I just started like learning on my own. And then like right when my upline quit and took my team with her to a different company, that's when my ambassador diamonds had called. So I'm on Chad and Drew's team. They called and they just reached out to me and was like, hey, we just want to let you know, like, we're here for you. We don't want you to feel alone. And I was starstruck because I knew who they were, but I didn't know them personally. Yeah. And so I had met them at conference, and that's when I was like, wow, this is like this is so amazing to have this support, even though the one who brought me in bounced, you know? So it was like, I'm just gonna keep going, whether she wants it or not. And after I like promoted, I started seeing, like, you know, you go back and you just start seeing, let me see what they're up to. Like now they're not even doing anything anymore. And I'm like, girl, I was your double diamond. Like you lagged, like you lost out. Like you'd probably be like triple or presidential by now and you missed it.
Yes, seriously. Yeah, I always tell my team that because, you know, when I signed up, I always tell them like, dude, like I didn't have anybody to train me, show me anything. Mm-hmm. Like the person that signed me up left a month after, you know, and then the person that signed them, you know, them up, they were kind of not around. And then there's always like an upline or, you know, presidential or ambassador upline. But sometimes it's just better to like figure things out on your own, you know, because then you honestly, like, that's how you know you want it. And that's crazy that you say that because I always tell them, like, dude, like, you guys can do this. If I built my whole entire, you know, business, like double diamond business, if I built it all the way to double diamond without any distributors or any loyal customers getting placed under me with no training, like, you guys can absolutely do that, you know? So now you're saying it, so I'm like, see, like, dude, we can still do this. Okay, that is freaking amazing.
I like that you said that too, because in 5 years I've never had a customer placed under me. I've never had a distributor placed under me. And let me tell you guys, it's nice when you're up for you, and it's amazing that but if you want to make the high average income, when you see the average income chart thing, if you want to be on the high average, you want to be doing all the enrolling, you want to be doing all the building, you want to do all the placing, you want all those fast starts, you want the highest commission that you can get. It's different when you're built. And, you know, like I said, it's nice to when they do it for you, but at the same time, if you're not doing it for yourself and you're not the one building, you know, you'll look at that average income chart and then you'll wonder, why isn't my check that high? But you'll have to ask yourself, did you do the enrolling? Did you do the placing? Did you do the building? So as much as I think, like, you know, it would have been nice had they placed people under me. I really think, like, thank God nobody ever gave me any, because my check is a lot higher. My check is above average. And so it's nice knowing that. And you just feel so much better. Like I did that. Like my sponsor left and now she's missing out. And I did that. And, you know, at the great God, there was resources. There was people for me. And so, yeah, I'm so glad you said that.
Wow, dude, it's so true, because that's another thing. Like people, you know, we help them get to Ruby, you know, for promotions and everything, or we want to help someone get to Ruby because they're runners, but they just can't build themselves in that very moment or month on their own. So, you know, then they open up their check and it's like, oh, why isn't my check this? And it's like, dude, like, we helped you get there, you know. And a lot of things, you know, I tell my team a lot. I tell them, like, look, it's crazy because, you know, they'll get themselves to Ruby and think they're done. Like they think, oh my gosh, I just worked my ass off for Ruby. And it's like, dude, you have no idea then what it's going to take to get to Emerald, to get to Diamond. And it's always sacrifice, because I'm sure when they went Ruby, they were so pumped and they probably, you know, stopped watching a little bit of TV, started doing a little bit of shift on, like, you know, focusing more on the business. So guess what? When you go Emerald and when you go Diamond, it's no different. Like you're going to have to do that more, you know? So I love that you said that. So, okay. Okay. So when you promoted to the ring, so to double diamond, and then your husband, did you guys have any life going on? Because I know a lot of people, when they start doing the business and then let's say like a tire gets popped, or maybe they get fired, you know, or maybe you know, something happens where the husband gets fired, you know, anything like that, or they get pregnant, you know. I feel for some reason, I have no idea, when people get pregnant, they're like, oh my gosh, too much is happening, life is happening. And I tell them, like, dude, that is a blessing. Like now God is telling you to push harder, you know. I know for me, that's how I saw it. You know, I was having C-sections at the hospital, still freaking enrolling people and selling wraps. So if you can explain to them and tell them, you know, if life has happened while you were promoting, and isn't it supposed to happen even more when you're promoting. So if you can kind of tell them that.
Yeah, definitely. So life, let me tell you guys, none of us are exempt from life. Life happens to anybody and everybody, and we all have to go through something, and we never know when or what is gonna hit. But a couple of years ago, my husband, well, we're going on 2 years now. My husband was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. It's called renal cell carcinoma. And it's been a whirlwind for our world. Like, we've gone through phases where he's doing great, and we've gone through seasons where we thought we were going to lose him. And just this past the whole December, from the beginning of December all the way until the end of January, we lived in the hospital. He was going through some major stuff, and we didn't know if he was going to make it or not. And to be honest, like, I could have easily been like, because of what's going on. I'm about to lose my husband. I'm trying to get things figured out with my kids. Like, we didn't have a great Christmas because of all of this. But I had to have that perspective of, no, I get to sit here with him every single day through treatment. When he goes, so his hospital, the hospital that he's at, that he goes to, and his treatments and everything are 3.5 hours away from home. Because of this business, I get to be there with him. We get to drive and travel anytime he needs to be with a doctor, anytime he needs to be hospitalized. I get to do this with him, right next to him, and never have to miss out on anything. And we've talked about it before. Like, God, imagine if I was still working. Even if he wasn't working, imagine if I was still working. I would have been fired from my job, because there's no way I'm going to miss an appointment with him. I would have been like trying to figure out how to make ends meet, because how am I going to pay bills and do all this stuff and take care of his medical stuff and all of this stuff. Like, cancer comes out of nowhere. It attacks your family, and it's not just the person that gets diagnosed. Our whole family got diagnosed when he did. Like I said, my son's in college, and he's dealing a lot with, what's going on, and he sees us like, wow, like, we don't stress about anything other than what he's doing. Everything is surrounded around him. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be able to be like that if I was working full time. It wouldn't be able to be all about him if we were trying to figure out how to make ends meet. Like, this business has been to where I don't have to worry. I have leaders on my team that can take over when I have that kind of stuff going on. In December, I didn't know what I was going to do, you guys. Like, I was like, I couldn't focus on, getting customers and getting distributors and building a team, and then still sitting in there trying to see, like, figure out if he's going to be okay. Is he going to make it? Is like, it was a lot going on. But because of all the work that I had put in, like, from the time that I started, I was still getting customers. I was still getting distributors. I was still getting paid. I was still getting fast starts. Like, it was so crazy how, like, in the midst of all of hell that we were going through, like, it just continued to flourish. But that happened because of the work that I had put in before, and the leaders that we were building on our team. Like, I have amazing leaders on my team. They seriously, like, when you go to a job and you have coworkers, and your coworkers will be the first to snitch on you to get you in trouble. Like, it's so different here. Your leaders are there to help you when you can't do for yourself. And I'm just so blessed to have such amazing leaders on my team that took over during that time that we were going through all that. And by God's grace, he's good. We're home now. We're still fighting the good fight, and he's such a fighter. But just, like, to think, like, if he was still working, like, how would we get by, and how could we deal with all of this? Like, cancer is the most life that can ever happen besides death. Like, it's so crazy. But when life happens, you can't throw in the towel. You have to push through it. You have to pray, and you have to know and have faith that God's going to get you through it no matter what. And look at all the things that you're blessed with. For me, I just kept looking at this business and was just so grateful that I get to have this business with me wherever we go. He's in the hospital. My business is in the hospital too. We're traveling 3 hours. My business is traveling 3 hours too. Whatever it was, it was right there, and right at the fingertips. And you cannot find that anywhere else. And it's just awesome. So yeah, if life is happening, you guys know that there's someone somewhere else going through a lot worse than what you're going through, and they're still killing it. Like, I look at leaders, and I look at So at the time that my husband got diagnosed, I related a lot to Lachelle Ann. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's like, I think she's like a triple or presidential, but her mom was going through treatments too at the same time. And I just related to her so much because, you know, she was taking care of her mom. She moved to be with her mom to do the treatments. She took on all of her mom's bills. And it's just like, you know, you get a choice. You either throw in the towel or you pick up that towel, you wipe yourself off, and you do with what God gave you. And it's been such a blessing. I don't miss anything with him at all, like nothing. So life happens, but you just got to run with it. If you don't, find somebody who does and do what they do. That's what I did.
Okay, sorry guys, I had to mute myself because it was a little loud over here. Okay, that's freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that you said that. And you know, we're all gonna be praying for you as well and hoping that everything gets better for you, you know, because like you said, that's what I love about this business. It's so much different, more different than coworkers. And like you said, you know, with this business, it's like we're like I want my team to understand that, you know, with coworkers, there's always drama. Like I remember my jobs and there was always drama, you know, and then when you're in this business, it's so much different. Like they're talking to you about God, you know, they're pushing you when you have hard times, they're there. You know, I always tell my team, like, of course, I've had teams where they've broken up and they fell apart, you know, but they weren't meant to be here or else they would be here.
Right.
You know, and now it's different. Like now I tell my team, like, I want our team to be like super united, praying for each other. Something's going on, like, let's help each other, you know, whatever it is when we're feeling down, let's pick each other back up. That's the kind of team and people you want to be surrounded with, especially when you're building something so big. And so I definitely love that you said that. Okay, during promotions. Okay, this is another question. So you kind of went through everything so quick. So how important is your mindset, or how important is mindset when it comes to this business?
Mindset is everything. Everything. So everything surrounds around your mindset and your faith. You know, I was never religious growing up. I grew up like my mom's side of the family is Jehovah's Witnesses. My dad's side of the family is Catholic. So they're completely clashing religion. So I kind of took myself out and thought, well, I can do it on my own. I'm going to build a relationship with God all by myself. I'm going to pray every day. He's going to listen to me, which is correct. He still listened and he still, you know, was with me all the time. But, you know, if you guys know who Chad and like, if you know Chad and Jerry, you know, they're just such amazing Christians. They, you know, they're just awesome. Well, they had a retreat in in October, and for the Diamonds and Above on their team. And so I got to go and it was super awesome. But you know, they took us to their church on that Sunday. And at first I was kind of like, you know, I love worship service at conference and everything, but I was still kind of like, But when I went there, it just opened up my mind to even more, because my mind has always been like, you know, personal development is everything. Your mindset is everything. You know, I've always studied like the law of attraction and listened to audios and, you know, all that good stuff. I listen to The Stranger's Secret every day. I've watched The Secret. Like my brother turned me on to that when I first started the business. And I've always been the type to always, like, I'm optimistic. Like I like to look at the things on the brighter side of everything, because there's always two sides. Just like there's always two sides to every story, there's always two sides to life too. You can choose to look at the bad part of it, or you can look at the beautiful part of it. And so if you don't have that mentality and that strength behind your mindset and that faith behind your mindset, your mind can take you to places really fast. And you can start to spiral, and then everything gets out of control and you feel like life is happening. I can't do this. This is too much. But if you can take control of your mindset and you listen to an audio every single day, you guys, I thought it was stupid when I first started. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, this is common sense stuff. Of course, duh. And I didn't realize how important it was until I gave myself a break from listening to it. And let me tell you, the devil is at work all day long. Like he will, if you're on social media and you're scrolling, he will show you stuff to take your mind to a horrible place where you think the world is ugly. The business is not working. My team don't want to do nothing. And as you're thinking that, if you start to learn more about the law of attraction, and I know it sounds kind of like corny to say, what you think is what you get back. It doesn't matter. It, like, what you're thinking is what you're getting back. And so as you start to, build, it's like working out, right? Like if you're exercising, every time you do it, you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Your mind is just as important of a muscle as your body is. So if you're, letting it get filled with crap and stuff on TV, and let me tell you, TV, you guys, is nothing but negative news, okay? The only time I watch TV is to watch This Is Us and The Village, and these are both inspiring shows, and I don't watch them unless I sign a customer or I sign a distributor that day. Like, that's my treat. Like, okay, I can go ahead and watch an episode of the season. And it took me a while to catch up the seasons because I was like, I'm not going to watch it unless I get my work done. But it's so easy for your mind to go off into negative places. And then when it happens, the negative things start to happen in your life and in your business. And if you're not continually feeding your mind positivity, personal development, watching the Zooms, getting on the Zooms and listening to other people, even though if you don't know them or you know them or you whatever, always try to keep yourself around that stuff to keep your mind in the right place, because that's what's going to make your business get stronger. And let's say you are being a negative Nancy, you're going to attract nothing but negative Nancys. Then you're going to wonder why your team is full of negative Nancys, because you are the root of it. And so if your root is strong-minded, like, whether they stay or not, I'm going to do this. I'm building an amazing business. My products are the shit. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. My business is the ish. If you have that mentality, even on the days that you really don't want to think that way, pop an audio in your ear and listen to it. With my husband, we listen to something every single morning. Like, I'll rub his back with like oils and all this stuff. And we take at least 10 to 15 minutes every single morning before we do anything to listen to something positive. And in the morning, you can go on YouTube and just pop up morning motivation. And there's like Joel Osteen, Jim Brown, there's Les Brown, like all of TD Jakes, like so many amazing ones that you can listen to. And we'll just sit there and we'll be quiet and I'll be rubbing his back, and it sets the tone for a whole day for him to feel empowered to take on his day, because he deals with a whole lot of pain, discomfort. It helps him with his willpower. It helps me as his caregiver to have more willpower for him too. It helps us stay positive. It helps our relationship, because we both know, like, not to look at the negative part of what's going on in our life, but to be optimistic. And then it helps with my business, with my relationships, with my leaders, with my team. Like, it all just sets the tone for everything that happens around you. And so I love the quote of don't adapt to the energy in the room, be the energy in the room. And in order for you to be that energy, you have to have that built up mindset and that strong mindset. So if you guys take anything away from me today, is do personal development, listen to an audio, read the book, watch the videos, like, commit to yourself to doing it. And after a while, it becomes addicting, because you start to see things around your life and around you, like, it starts working and you're like, this is crazy. Okay, let me listen to another one. And then it starts, really working. And when negative things happen around you, maybe somebody calls and quits, or maybe a customer is complaining, it gives you that rhino skin. It gives you the right things to say, like, what to say, instead of feeling offended or mad or angry. It sets your whole entire life up in a whole different way when you have that mindset. That's the number one thing in this business. We get paid to learn more about ourselves. Like, we get paid to grow our mind. We get paid to grow our faith. We get paid to become better people, period. And so really take advantage of that. When your sponsor throws you a video, listen to it, watch it. They're only doing it for your own good. And like I said, I used to think it was a waste of time. I used to think it was common sense stuff, like we should just know this stuff, but it really isn't. You really have to work at it. So it's very important.
Yes, I love that you said that. Oh my gosh, that's like a Facebook post right there. You said we get paid to grow and to be better people. Oh, that was fire. Okay, so okay, let's talk about this really quick, because we only have like about 8 minutes left. So also, tell them, okay, what's the difference? And because I know there's people that listen to personal development and they don't even apply it. So let's go there. Like, what about if you're just listening and listening and listening and pouring so much stuff into you, but you're not even doing anything with it? And then we'll leave with your like last thing that you can tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So like this, like if you go to listening to personal development and not applying it is like going to the gym and sitting at the table and watching other people work out. What is the point, right? So with personal development, you have to put it into play. You have to like really get your mind rolling and, you know, really like start applying things. When something pisses you off, really look at the good side of what's going on. Oh, even no matter how hard it is, you know, let's just say your best friend called you right now and told you she's quitting the business. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to throw in the towel too? Are you going to be mad? Are you going to be angry? Or are you going to be understanding and try to see what's going on with her and lead her in the right direction? You have to apply it. If you're not applying it, if you're just listening and you're not like really believing and really putting it into play, it's kind of pointless to do it. And then you're going to start to see that your business is not going to grow. You're not going to grow. You're not going to be teaching other people to do it, because at the end of the day, we're here to teach. We're here to learn, do, and teach, right? That's what we get paid to do. Learn, do, and teach. And so if you're learning this stuff and then you're doing the stuff, then you can teach it to your team, and then they can go and they can do the exact same thing. So if you want your business to grow, you have to learn, you have to do, and then you have to teach them so that they can do this, so that they can learn, they can do, and they can teach. And that's how your business is going to explode. It, you know, it all boils down to your belief. Like, what do you believe and who do you listen to? You know, we can talk about it all day long. We can tell you till you're blue in your face, listen to personal development, do personal development, listen. And for me, that's like the majority of my business is personal development, because I look at it this way. Like, I get paid to grow me. I get paid to become a better person. That's like working in ministry. It's like a pastor. They get paid to go and spread the word of God, right? We get paid to be better people, and people around us notice it, and you start to attract better people into your business. How often, like, I don't know about y'all, but before this business, I used to be like super ratchet. I was super crazy. My lifestyle was bananas. Like, I used to drink and do drugs and all this crazy stuff. And that started attracting all these like ratchet, no good friends, people who didn't care about me, still your man type people, like all this stuff, right? But because that's the life I was living. When I started to realize, like, okay, let me grow myself and start being a better person, then I started attracting better people into my life. And now I have some of the most amazing golden hearts around me all the time. And I'm so blessed to have these people in my life. But the reason why is because I took personal development serious. Like, whatever I am is what I'm going to attract. So as long as I keep getting better, I'm going to keep attracting better people into my life. And people make the world go round. People make your business grow. You cannot grow your business without people, right? So make yourself a better person, and then start to expect that as you're growing, these people who are the same as you are going to come into your life, and they're going to have that same mentality to learn, do, and teach. And then before you know it, you're like diamond and double diamond, and you're going triple, and you're going presidential, and it's just awesome. It doesn't mean that you take away from who you are. It doesn't mean that you change who you are as a person. Like, you're always going to be authentically you. You always, whatever your culture is or your beliefs are, or whatever it is, you don't ever let anything take that away from you. With personal development, you build on that. You build on the beauty of who you are, and you share your story, you share your background, you share where you came from. I'm from a little tiny town. I dropped out of college. I had my son when I was really, really young. I was in an abusive relationship. I ended up having to leave. My son, his dad is completely out of the picture since he was a tiny little baby. I met my husband now, and, we grew a family together. And it was like, we did a lot of crazy stuff in our lives. And it was like, if we would have kept going down that way, and this business, when it came into our life, we would have never had the opportunity to look at life in a whole different aspect. We would probably still be, I really don't know what we would be doing. We'd be broke somewhere and fired from my job, because you never know when life is going to happen. But yeah, you guys, take personal development serious. Make that like half of what you do in your business, and then watch your business flourish because you are getting better.
Yeah, I freaking love that. You said some fire stuff, dude. I have like so many, like all like I have page of freaking notes of a lot of fireness that you just gave us. But okay, if you can just leave, because we have about 2 minutes. If you could just leave us like with your last thing, maybe like a tip or advice, you know, anything that you can give us in the last 2 minutes.
If I was gonna leave a tip, my tip is don't give up. Don't quit. Even when things feel like it's not happening fast enough, just know that it's just a matter of time. Everything is a matter of time. You know, when my sponsor quit and took my entire team, had I quit, like I look back now, like had I quit, I would have never earned over $60,000 in bonuses. I would have never been able to walk away from my job full time. I would have never bought my first car. I would have never been building my credit. I would have never been looking forward to buying a house. I would have never been able to sit here and be bedside with my husband as he needs me the most right now. Like all of these things, one day, if you just started, or maybe you've been in the business for a while, time is of the essence. Just know time is going to pass anyway. So even if it's good or bad or whatever's happening, let time take its course and you just keep working. Don't quit. Trust me. That I love this saying. It's like nobody. How does it go? It says remember that person. Remember the story of the person that quit? And it's like a question mark. It's like, yeah, nobody does because they quit. So don't withhold like the blessing of your story to help inspire and grow somebody else because you threw in the towel way too early. Just think about it, guys. Like I was at my job for years and years and years, and there's no way I would have ever got a $4,000 to $5,000 raise working there. I don't care how long I would have been there. There's no way they were gonna pay me $6,000 a month. No way, right? Here I've been working the business, and within 3 years, that's what I was getting paid. So it's like there's no way that's gonna happen in a job. But had I quit when my sponsor quit and when life happened, I'd be on food stamps and welfare and trying to figure things out, stressed out to my ball it would have been crazy. So just let time go. When you're having a hard time, pour yourself into personal development, reach out to your sponsor. And if you don't have a sponsor, reach out to theirs. There's always somebody that's here ready to support you. And if not, go on YouTube.